Hello, chess theorites. Today, we are going to discuss the clash of champions in Freestyle Go Challenge 2024. It was the game between world number one Magnus Carlsen and current world champion Ding Liren. This was rapid game in chess 960 format. This variant was invented by former world champion Bobby Fischer, in which there can be 960 different variation of initial position. So the pieces are jumbled and can randomly be placed in the initial position. So because of that, no preparation can be done, at least humanly possible, and direct battle of thinking begins from move one. So let's look at this game now. Ding started with the move f4, and Carlsen replied with f5. Then c4 was played by Ding. From the pawns are being pushed to gain some space to make space for the pieces to get active. Carlsen replied with c6. Ding played g3, activating this bishop. Carlsen replied with the same. Ding improved the knight's position. Carlsen also improved the knight's position. d3, knight c6. So far, in terms of piece moves, it's the same. This pawn move as well. There is one small difference. Carlsen's pawn is on c6, restricting this bishop, while Ding's pawn is on c4. And because of that, this bishop is not as restricted. So Ding put his knight in the center on e5, and from here, Carlsen started to play more aggressively. He played g5, putting pressure on this pawn, because of course, if this pawn gets captured, then there is bishop takes c5, the knight goes. So that was his plan. Then Ding played c5, attacking this knight. Carlsen replied with g takes f4, capturing the pawn and attacking the knight. Ding recaptured. Carlsen replied with knight takes f4, capturing the pawn. He is not worried about this pawn, this knight, because if Ding captures this, then this knight can be captured. Ding played d4, defending this knight. Carlsen now moved the knight that was being attacked. Ding recaptured, and he captured this pawn. So after all of this, the material still is equal. Calsen played bishop g6, bringing the bishop on this important diagonal and attacking the knight. Then e4 was played, defending this. So Calsen keeps up the pressure. Very important. d5. He wants to challenge. Ding center. Ding c6 pawn. e4 pawn. More pressure. Then c takes e6 was played. D and then after that, e takes d6 was played. So then bishop f2. Ding is trying to improve his bishop's position, so he can play bishop g3. So then Calsen played queen f8, increasing the pressure on this knight. Ding also brought the queen, attacking this knight and defending this knight. Calsen played bishop takes f5, eliminating this knight. So what was his plan? So he gets to eliminate that knight because that knight could potentially create some counterplay, and then he can make use of his other pieces to put pressure on Ding's weaknesses. So Ding played queen takes f5, queen takes f5, he takes f5, and now what Carlsen would have played? So Carlsen in this position, castle on the king side. Wait, what? How is that possible? That is possible. He can castle on the king side. So in chess 960, castle is still possible. So Carlsen can go with the king to g8, and one of his rooks will go to f8, and that's how castle is possible. So why did he castle? Because after castling, he's also attacking this pawn. And if the king gets to g8, it's not about king safety, but this rook will also get active. So that's what it did. So after castle, Ding played bishop e4, defending this pawn. So after that, Carlsen decided to play d5 and attack this bishop. So after making this bishop with passive, he targeted the other bishop by playing knight h3. What's the plan? He wants to keep the pressure on this bishop because that is the bishop that is defending the central pawn of d4. So he wants to keep the pressure up so that he can capture this. Now, Ding had an option of playing bishop e3, but that won't be enough to save this pawn because Carlsen could play rook f8, attacking this bishop. And if Ding can defend it, but there is another problem. Bishop takes d4 can be played, and the bishop is, and because if bishop takes e4, then there is rook takes e1. So he could not play bishop e3. Bishop g1 is possible, but it's just a matter of time before that pawn would fall. So Ding decided to play rook f1 and defend the bishop, but that doesn't help him because Carlsen captured the bishop, and after rook takes f2, bishop takes d4 was played. He won the important central pawn. The bishop is also now quite active. Then Ding played rook g2 check. Carlsen just moved the king to f7, and this time it was Ding's turn to castle. So he castled on the queen side. He brought the king here and the rook here. So that way he can activate his a1 rook. But by the time that happens, Carlsen is already up a pawn and his pieces are quite active. So after Ding castled on the queen side in this position, Carlsen decided to play rook g8. What's the plan of rook g8? So in this position, the bishop can be captured, but the rook will be captured. So, and if Ding captures, then of course he would give this intermediate check, and then he would recapture the rook. So he is challenging Ding on the open g file. Ding played rook e2 in this position. Carlsen just defended the bishop by playing bishop f6. Then the game continued with rook d1. He's doubling on the e file, but rook e7 is not the threat because the bishop is here. So Carlsen is not worried. He improved the rook's position by playing rook g4. Ding played rook e6. Now there is nothing stopping him from bringing his rook to the second rank. That's what he did. Then he went for the exchange. He brought another rook on the open file. Bishop d3 was played. He improved the rook's position. Now it's time to target the weak pawns of Ding, rook h4. This is the target of Carlsen. He played bishop e7 with the idea of playing bishop d6. Then he could have played bishop d6 in this position, but I guess he did not want to allow any of such f6 ideas, though nothing much would happen. But so for that reason, he played bishop c5, attacking this rook. So and then Ding resigned in this position because he could play rook g2 or rook e2 or something, but then Carlsen could play bishop d6 to attack this, or bishop g1 to attack this, and then he would win this, and he would be up two pawns. He would have this pass pawn, he would have this pass pawn. It's just a matter of time before the game would end. So quite a powerful game from Carlsen, who showed his aggressive intentions from the opening and in the middle game. He kept up the pressure, and because Ding's pieces were not that active, so Carlsen managed to win the central pawn and slowly but steadily put pressure on more weaknesses. And before Ding was going to lose the second pawn, he resigned. Mm. Thanks everyone for joining, and let's hope that in this freestyle GOAT challenge, Carlsen and other players play more of such enterprising chess